her slice of hell a dozen times in the last few decades, thrown herself into each transformation with enthusiasm and creativity. She'd raised cities and castles of gold, bone, obsidian, ice, gone through multiple palettes for environment and interior design, changed the weather, the light levels, even the design of the vermin that scurried around the crumbling edges of the infinity pits. Her guests wore knockoffs of clothes and jewelry she'd created. She'd spotted a dozen bad copies of the Ouroboros necklace she'd adorned herself with just the night before. But trend-setting was old news, and no matter how engaging each recreation was, she always ended up vaguely dissatisfied in the end. And the end comes faster and faster. First night of a grand unveiling, and here she sat, itching for relief from all the sameness. But what was the cure? She could dump her guests and minions into one of the eternity pits south of her palace and burn every structure in her domain to ashes, then rebuild as it suited her. Again, she could take a vacation, open herself to inspiration, but she'd done that too, lots of times. The party scene was getting tired, but nothing she could think of sounded better than what she had. There were a dozen-plus admirers hoping to talk to her, gathered at the low stone steps of her platform and held back by the glowering Kreck brothers, a matching pair of rock demons she'd lately been using as security. The Krecks were mute, 10 feet tall, and thicker than the walls of her best castle, plus their natural charcoal color went with everything. Satana scanned the waiting faces, mostly mortal, looking for anybody who might be worth her attention. A heavy metal pill overdose with delusions of grandeur, a brilliant physicist with chronic halitosis and a tendency to get handsy, a handsome but dumb actor who went on and on about his instrument. Satana's upper lip curled. There was that starlet who drank too much and always pushed us girls narratives. Ugh. The blonde wore a trashy red dress with spangles and, when she realized she'd been noticed, dropped Satana a broad wink. Satana had grown up in hell and was the ruler of her own domain. Her soul had once been bonded to the archdemon Basilisk. She traveled through space and time, saved or doomed worlds as suited her, and been slain and resurrected more than once. Yes, it was exactly the same as being in a movie. They were practically sisters. On a whim, Satana pointed at the winking actress and sent her to one of the pits, with no fanfare or public announcement. Even a year ago, she would have come up with some horrifying spectacle that ended with the actress as a trophy on her walls, fun for everyone, and a friendly reminder not to be too familiar. These days, Satana didn't even bother waiting for their expressions to change when they realized they were uninvited, and the people behind the starlet just crowded into the empty spot, each of them convinced that they were special, different, worth tolerating. Satana took a deep breath, causing another conversational dip, and then let it out slowly. Her advisor, Varen, a mostly useless idiot, had said something about celestial alignments the other day. There was one of those once-in-a-millennium darkness rising deals coming up within the year. Satana hadn't really paid attention. Alignments happened all the time, and she kept her realm stable, but perhaps it was making her restless. In any case, there was nothing for it but to quit the party before she burned everyone alive. If you still want to burn them tomorrow, fine, but don't be reactive, she told herself, and rose from her throne. Maybe she was in a rut, but good for her. Recognizing her mood and checking her own behavior, that demonstrated maturity, and Satana's thoughts cut off as she felt something push at her dimensional wards, magic that wasn't hers.